Welcome to Lead with Linnea, where we talk about real leadership for real people in the real world. I'm Linnea Rader, and I've spent 2 decades in public service leadership, from accounting to my current role as the Director of Finance and Human Resources. I've seen pretty much everything: the spectacular successes, the painful failures, and everything in between that makes leadership both challenging and incredibly rewarding. Here's the thing. Leadership is not reserved for people with fancy titles or corner offices. Every single one of us can be a leader in our personal and professional lives. Whether you're managing a team of 50 or just trying to figure out how to navigate office politics, whether you're a frontline worker or sitting around a boardroom table, leadership skills matter. My approach? I skip the fluff and get straight to what really works. You won't find theoretical frameworks or feel-good platitudes here. Instead, you'll get practical, tested strategies from someone who's been in the trenches, made the mistakes, and learned the hard lessons so that you don't have to. Through Lead with Linnea, I provide leadership development training and coaching because I'm passionate about helping people discover their authentic leadership potential. And honestly, some days you need to laugh to keep from crying, and some days you just need someone to tell you the truth about what leadership really looks like. So whether you're listening while you commute, taking a walk, or just need someone to remind you that you've got this, I'm here for you. So let's dive in and talk about what it really takes to lead with authenticity, impact, and maybe a little bit of sanity. Ready? Let's go. How to stop checking work email after hours, and why your team will thank you. Constantly checking work email at night and weekends? You are not alone. Here's why this habit hurts your leadership effectiveness, and 5 practical strategies to finally set healthy email boundaries. So it's 9:47 p.m. You're watching a movie with your family when your phone buzzes. Outlook notification. Your hand reaches for the phone before you even think about it. Sound familiar? For years, I checked emails at all hours, middle of the night, during dinner, on vacation. If the notification went off, I was looking. And I convinced myself that this made me a better and more responsive leader. Here's what actually happened. I was exhausted, my family resented my phone, and I wasn't any more effective at work. In fact, I was probably less effective because I never really rested. Why checking email constantly doesn't make you a better leader. So let me tell you what I learned the hard way. That email at 9 p.m. doesn't need your response at 9:01 p.m. I used to think that being available 24/7 was part of the job description. If someone needed me, I should be there. If an email came in, I should respond quickly. That's what good leaders do, right? Wrong. Here's the reality I didn't want to face. I was no better prepared for work the next day. I wasn't more productive. I wasn't ahead. There was no off button. I never gave myself a break, and it stunk. I responded to tons of emails late at night. None of them resulted in anything life-changing. But one night does stand out. I received that notification, read the email, and tried to sleep. I tossed and turned. The condescending tone of that email had me on edge. I wanted to tell the sender off. I was exhausted. I was cranky. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I could not ignore it. So I shot off a reply. A passive-aggressive, borderline unprofessional email in which, in my sleepy state of mind, I thought I said, "We could dive into the details of the situation in the morning." It didn't. And that's the problem with responding to emails when you're tired. Your judgment is off. Your tone is off. You think you're being reasonable when you're actually just making things worse. Your team doesn't want 9 p.m. responses. Here's something that surprised me. When I stopped responding to emails after my hours, my team was relieved. They didn't want me responding at all hours. They wanted a leader who models healthy boundaries and shows up refreshed during actual work hours. Think about it from their perspective. When you send emails at 10 p.m., what message does that send? Even if you don't expect them to respond immediately, you're creating anxiety. They're wondering if they should be working too. If they're falling short because they're not checking emails at night. If your expectations are reasonable, or if they're always expected to be on. I was shocked the day I learned this lesson. I got an email from one of my teammates very shortly after I sent one late in the evening. I was working late, trying to catch up, and here comes a reply. I replied back, "What are you doing working?" The response, "Answering you." On Monday, we discussed it further. They weren't working, but their alert said I was, and they didn't want to hold me up. I had explained before that I would be working to catch up on things, but what my team heard was that I was behind and wanted to get caught up. And they felt if they got something from me that I was working on and they didn't respond, then I wouldn't be able to get caught up. So my desire to get caught up, a feat that really will never actually be met, by the way, meant I was putting everyone on notice subconsciously. That conversation changed everything for me. I wasn't just affecting my own work-life balance, I was destroying theirs too. So the illusion of productivity. When you're checking email constantly, you feel productive. You're responding. You're handling things. You are on top of everything. But are you actually accomplishing anything meaningful? Well, let's see. Most after-hour emails fall into a few categories. Things that can absolutely wait until tomorrow. Things you shouldn't respond to when you're tired. Things that aren't actually your problem to solve. And things that will generate more work if you do respond now. Very rarely is there a true emergency that requires your immediate attention at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. The real cost of always-on email culture. The cost isn't just personal, though that is bad enough. It's organizational. Decision-making suffers when you're always on. See that story above about the passive-aggressive email I sent when I should have been sleeping? That's what happens when you make decisions when you're tired. You think you're being professional. You think you're handling it, but you're not. You're reactive, not thoughtful. You're solving today's problem while creating tomorrow's mess. Your brain needs rest to make good decisions. When you're responding to emails at all hours, you're making decisions in the state of fatigue. You're more reactive, less thoughtful, and more likely to miss important details. Your family pays the price. It didn't matter if I was at dinner with my family watching a movie or trying to have a conversation. If the notification went off for good old Outlook, I was looking. The look, the eye roll, the return of behavior. These are all reactions to my phone usage by my husband, kids, and family, and I can't blame them. I used to check the darn thing all the time. I missed my kiddos' plays in basketball. I missed funny things they were saying at dinner. I missed the details. My attention was never fully present. Part of me was always waiting for the next email, the next problem, the next thing that needed handling. And my family noticed. Even when I thought I was being subtle about it, they knew. They always knew. You're setting up your team for burnout. When you're always on, your team feels pressure to always be on too. Even if you explicitly tell them that you don't expect responses after hours, your behavior speaks louder than your words. If you're sending emails at 9 p.m., they're reading emails at 9 p.m. If you're working on weekends, they feel guilty for not working weekends. Your always on culture becomes their always on culture. And that's how entire teams burn out. So 5 strategies to break the after hours email habit. So, okay, enough about why this is always a problem. Let's talk about how to actually fix it. So strategy 1, turn off notifications after work hours. This is the simplest and most effective change I made. At 7 p.m., my work email notifications turn off. They come back on at 7 a.m., 6 a.m., the next workday. No buzzing, no dinging, no temptation to just check it quietly. So how do you do that? Depending on your settings in your phone, I've got some instructions in the blog post itself. So the first few nights will feel weird. You'll reach for your phone out of habit, but after a week, the peace is incredible. Strategy 2, use scheduled send features. Sometimes you write emails after hours. Maybe that's when you have some thinking time. That's fine. But you don't have to send them immediately. Every major email platform has a schedule send feature. Write the email whenever you want, but schedule it to send during business hours. The how to do that is also in the blog. But this way, you can work when it suits you, but you're not creating after-hours anxiety for your entire team. Strategy number 3, create an email processing schedule. Instead of responding to emails as they arrive all day and all night, set specific times to process email. Now, I check email at the beginning of the day. Then, unless there's a reason, I don't really check it again until lunchtime. Then, not again until close to the end of the day. This allows me to adjust my priorities based on true need evaluation, rather than just the constant interruption. I can actually deep think and process things instead of being reactive all day long. So when you batch your email processing, you're more effective and less reactive. You're making decisions from a clear headspace instead of constantly context switching. Strategy number 4, communicate your boundaries to your team. Your team needs to know your boundaries exist. Try putting this in your email signature. I may send emails outside of business work hours, but I do not expect responses until the next business day. Even better, tell them directly in a team meeting. I'm working on better work-life balance, so I'm not checking my email after 7 p.m. anymore. If there's a true emergency, here's how to reach me. Otherwise, it can wait until morning. This gives them explicit permission to do the same. And strategy number 5, set up alternative emergency contact methods. One of my biggest fears about not checking email constantly is missing a true emergency. So define what emergency actually is and create an alternative way for people to reach you in those rare situations. For me, an actual emergency is a safety problem or injury. That's the top tier. Then comes urgent personnel matters that involve short notice requests for leave or personnel matters requiring an employee's full attention. Next comes our commissioner, managing director, township liaison, or elected appointed official inquiries. I always joke that if you can't get a hold of me, call, text, or send a pigeon. But the point is, true emergencies don't come through an email. They come through a phone call. For most of us, true emergencies that require immediate leader attention after hours are incredibly rare. But having that backup system in place makes it easier to ignore email with confidence. So what to do if you're worried about missing something urgent? So let's address the anxiety directly, because I know it's real. But what if someone needs me? What if something important happens? What if I miss a critical email? Here's what I learned. In my entire career, I cannot think of a single urgent, true emergency coming through email after hours. Not one. You know why? Because nobody would even think to send something of that level of importance through email. If it's genuinely urgent, they call. So then, why did I find it so important to check it all the time? That's the question that finally broke through my resistance. I was sacrificing my evenings, my family time, my sleep, and my sanity for nothing that actually mattered. So, how your team benefits when you set email boundaries. When I finally implemented these boundaries, something unexpected happened. My team got better. They developed stronger problem-solving skills because they couldn't immediately escalate everything to me. They built confidence in their decision-making. They felt trusted. And they started setting their own boundaries because I'd modeled that it was okay. Team morale improved. People seemed less stressed. The work still got done, maybe even better than before, because people were actually resting and showing up refreshed. The change I made this week. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to pick one boundary to implement this week. Just one. Maybe it's turning off notifications after 7 p.m. Maybe it's using scheduled send. Maybe it's telling your team you're not checking email on weekends anymore. Start small, build the habit, see how it feels. I promise you that email can wait until morning. Your brain needs rest. Your family deserves your attention. Your team needs you to model healthy boundaries, and you'll be a better leader because of it. So this is one of 10 leadership habits you should break in 2025. You can read about the other 9 leadership habits by clicking on the link in the blog. All right, ready to stop feeling guilty about work-life balance? I help leaders set boundaries and build sustainable leadership practices. Click on that link in the blog to schedule your free coaching consultation if you'd like to. So what's your biggest challenge with after hours email? Have you found strategies that work? Share in the comments below. Thank you for joining me today on Lead with Linnea. I hope something we talked about resonates with you and gives you a tool you can actually use in your leadership journey. Remember, leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional, authentic, and willing to keep learning and growing. You're going to face situations you never saw coming, make decisions that feel impossible, and sometimes wonder if you're cut out for this whole leadership thing. It's normal, it's human, and that's exactly why we need leaders like you who are willing to do the hard work. If today's episode sparked some ideas about training or coaching for you or your team, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at Linnea@leadwithlinnea.com or give me a call at 269-621-5282. Whether you're looking for one-on-one coaching, team training, or need someone to speak at your next event, let's talk about how we can help you and your people become the leaders your organization needs. You can find more resources, read my blog post, and learn more all about my services at leadwithlinnea.com. As always, carry social kindness with you everywhere you go. This world needs you and your positive mindset. Until next time, keep leading and keep growing.